In the fading light of a suburban evening, Tom Harris, a weathered but resilient man in his 40s, drove his dusty blue pickup down Willow Street, a sense of hard-earned peace settling over him. He'd just closed a months-long deal, and on the back seat lay a new 12-gauge hunting shotgun, a symbol of his grit and a reward for enduring a brutal year of hospital visits, watching his wife, Emily, battle illness. At 5 feet 6 inches and still pale, Emily was finally reclaiming her life, laughing and tending her front yard flowers barefoot as she once did. They were even planning a fall road trip, a simple escape from the shadow of medical monitors. But that peace shattered when Tom turned onto his street and spotted two unmarked matte gray SUVs parked aggressively at his curb, their tinted windows and lack of plates screaming trouble. His gut tightened as he saw two men on his porch, wearing mismatched tactical vests labeled HOA enforcement, a fiction as their neighborhood had no such agents. Then he saw Emily, barefoot, arms pinned, her face contorted in panic as one man, stocky and grim, yanked her hair, slamming her against the wall while the others circled menacingly. In that moment, time collapsed. Tom's world narrowed to Emily's terrified eyes and the stranger's grip on her. The shotgun, once a trophy, became a necessity. He didn't park or hesitate. His truck roared onto the lawn, tires tearing up sod. Boots hit the ground before the engine stilled, and his hands, moving with a soldier's precision, freed the 12-gauge from its box. Emily's muffled, breaking voice, fear laced with betrayal, drove him forward. The men didn't expect him. Tom was home 30 seconds early, a half minute that upended their plan. He climbed the porch steps, shotgun steady, each crunch of dry grass under his boots fueled by purpose. The stocky man froze as the barrel locked onto his chest. The leaner one, reaching for his hip, caught a blast to the forearm, collapsing in a bloody heap. Tom swung the stock, dropping the first man with two blows, shoulder then chest, each hit as final as a slammed door. "Who are you?" he demanded, voice low and raw, but only groans answered. Emily, trembling by the fence, clutched a post, her glassy eyes pleading for the nightmare to end. Tom's response wasn't rage, it was focus, born of love and a line in the sand no one could cross. Those 30 seconds of instinct saved his wife and exposed a criminal scheme, proving that when evil steps onto your porch, a split-second decision can change everything. The terrifying ordeal that unfolded on Tom Harris's front porch was no random act of violence, but a chilling glimpse into a sophisticated criminal operation masquerading as legitimate authority. The two men who dragged Emily Harris from her home, clad in tactical vests emblazoned with HOA enforcement, were not misguided neighbors or overzealous officials. They were operatives in a calculated scheme designed to exploit vulnerable homeowners across the United States. Their uniforms, forged documents, and authoritative demeanor were carefully crafted props in a scam that had already stripped over a dozen families of their homes in Florida, Arizona, and Nevada. Known as distressed property acquisition, this operation was institutional theft, a predatory network that thrived on fear, confusion, and the trust Americans place in local systems like homeowners associations. Tom's split-second intervention with a 12-gauge shotgun not only saved his wife, but also cracked open a case that exposed the dark machinery behind these fake enforcers. The men, led by Dale Cutler, a former private contractor with a rap sheet including impersonation and attempted kidnapping, operated with chilling precision. Their SUVs, matte gray with no plates, carried metal restraints, tranquilizer darts, and stacks of forged compliance documents stamped with fake county seals. Tools of intimidation designed to overwhelm. Their method was brutally efficient. Target families in transition, often those who'd missed a mortgage payment or two, and who were unlikely to immediately lawyer up. Posing as HOA agents, they'd arrive unannounced, wielding jargon and threats of a eviction to pressure residents into abandoning their homes. In Tampa, they coerced an elderly couple to vacate over fabricated community code violations. In Phoenix, a single mother faced threats of forced removal. In Henderson, Nevada, a retired Army veteran was bullied into compliance. Each time they vanished before authorities could act, leaving behind signatures, property access codes, and just enough legal ambiguity to slip through the cracks. The operation was backed by a web of shell companies and real estate trusts, untraceable to any single name, funneling properties into their control at suspiciously low prices. This wasn't a one-off scam, but a coordinated network with funding and regional reach, exploiting small towns where questions went unasked. The forged documents, identical uniforms, and generic trucks were hallmarks of a system built to scale, preying on the vulnerable with ruthless efficiency. Tom's confrontation, captured in a neighbor's 35-second video, and the subsequent investigation led by Detective Ramon Martinez revealed the depth of this fraud. Property transfer records linked the group to shadow entities, sparking federal housing regulator inquiries. What began as a suburban standoff became an interstate fraud probe, exposing a machine that thrived in the shadows. Tom's stand didn't just protect his home, it lit a fuse, proving that one man's defiance could unravel even the most insidious of criminal empires. In the quiet of Willow Street, Tom Harris's swift response to a terrifying home invasion by fake HOA enforcers revealed a truth every American homeowner should heed. Vigilance and community awareness are the first lines of defense against deception. When Tom pulled into his driveway, his gut screamed that something was wrong. Two unmarked SUVs, matte gray with no plates, sat at his curb, and two men in tactical vests labeled HOA enforcement were manhandling his wife, Emily, on their porch. Tom knew instantly their neighborhood had no such enforcers. Neither he nor the board had ever approved them. This wasn't a bureaucratic overreach. It was a calculated scam. His quick recognition, honed by years of protecting his family through Emily's illness, drove him to act. With a 12-gauge shotgun, he stopped the attackers, arriving 30 seconds before their plan could unfold. His instincts, paired with a neighbor's 35-second video, not only saved Emily, but exposed a criminal network preying on trusting communities. The fake enforcers, part of a distressed property acquisition scheme, thrived by exploiting faith in local systems. They targeted vulnerable families, using forged documents and intimidation to seize homes. Their success depended on homeowners not questioning their authority. Tom's skepticism was his weapon. He knew his HOA's rules and saw through the impostors' cheap vests and lack of badges. This aligns with a core American value: self-reliance, the ability to protect one's own by staying sharp. His actions echo the ethos of small-town America, where neighbors watch out for each other. The neighbors' shaky footage, capturing Tom's confrontation, was pivotal. Uploaded online, it went viral, drawing media and police attention that unraveled the scam. Without that video, the truth might have been buried, as it had been in Tampa, Phoenix, and Henderson, where other families fell victim. This story resonates with Americans aged 18 to 50, from young renters to established homeowners who value their homes as sanctuaries. It's a call to question suspicious authority, demand IDs, verify credentials, and contact official channels. The imposters' unmarked vehicles and lack of paperwork were red flags Tom spotted instantly. Community vigilance, like the neighbor's quick thinking, amplifies this defense. Sharing alerts, as Willow Street did, can stop scams before they escalate. Tom's stand wasn't just about one night. It's a lesson in staying awake in a world where trust can be weaponized. His 8-foot fence and motion-sensitive cameras now guard his home, but it's the eyes of his community, watchful, connected, that truly keep it safe. For every American, this is a reminder: know your rights, trust your gut, and lean on your neighbors. One moment of awareness can change everything. In the heart of a suburban courtroom, Tom Harris stood as a testament to the American instinct to protect one's home, his actions against fake HOA enforcers, vindicated by both law and morality. When Tom arrived home to find two men dragging his wife, Emily, from their Willow Street house, he didn't hesitate. Armed with a 12-gauge shotgun, he fired a warning shot and subdued the attackers, arriving 30 seconds before their plan could escalate. The men posing as HOA agents were part of a criminal network targeting vulnerable homeowners. Tom's response, driven by love and instinct, faced scrutiny in a 2-week trial, but overwhelming evidence, neighbor footage, police testimony, and medical reports proved his actions were justified. Judge Jenkins, known for his measured fairness, delivered a ruling that resonated with American values of self-defense. Tom's force was proportionate, precise, and restrained, and no charges were filed, affirming his moral and legal right to protect his family. The trial laid bare the gravity of the threat. Security footage from a neighbor's camera captured Tom's truck lurching onto the lawn, his shouts, in the shot that stopped the leaner attacker's reach for a weapon. Officer Martinez's testimony detailed the recovered evidence: tranquilizer darts, restraints, and forged documents, tying the men to a real estate fraud network. Medical experts described Emily's wrist bruises and cheek swelling, with a trauma nurse asserting that Tom's intervention likely prevented irreversible harm. These facts silenced the defense's attempts to paint Tom as reckless, their clipped quotes and still images no match for raw truth. The ruling reflected a cultural cornerstone: the right to stand your ground on your own property, a principle cherished by Americans from young homeowners to seasoned families. This moral victory was deeply personal, yet universally resonant. Tom's actions echoed the ethos of self-reliance, a value ingrained in American identity, where protecting loved ones is non-negotiable. The courtroom's stillness after Jenkins's dismissal was sacred, not celebratory. Tom closed his eyes in exhaustion, not triumph, as Emily's hand on his shoulder signaled her strength returning. Legally, the case set a precedent. A homeowner's measured response to an imminent threat was defensible, even under bureaucratic scrutiny. For Americans aged 18 to 50, this is a clarion call to know your rights. Evictions require court orders, and imposters must be challenged. Tom's stand, now fortified by an 8-foot fence and cameras, wasn't about vengeance, but about drawing a line. His story, viral through a neighbor's 35-second video, inspires a generation to guard their homes with vigilance, trusting that justice, when backed by truth, will hold. In a world of scams, Tom's 30 seconds of courage proved that moral clarity and legal truth can align to protect what matters most. Tom Harris's courageous stand against fake HOA enforcers on his Willow Street porch did more than save his wife, Emily. It ignited a fire that exposed a sprawling criminal network and demanded systemic change. When Tom, armed with a 12-gauge shotgun, intervened 30 seconds early to stop 2 men dragging Emily from their home, he unknowingly cracked open an interstate fraud operation. The attackers, posing as HOA agents, were operatives in a distressed property acquisition scheme that had quietly forced over a dozen families across Florida, Arizona, and Nevada to abandon their homes. Tom's defiance, captured in a neighbor's 35-second viral video, combined with Detective Ramon Martinez's investigation, unraveled a web of shell companies and real estate trusts, sparking federal inquiries and a broader fight for accountability. This wasn't just a suburban victory. It was a call for Americans to keep pushing until the systems that allow such scams to thrive are dismantled. The investigation revealed a chilling operation. Led by Dale Cutler, a former contractor with a history of impersonation and kidnapping charges, the group used forged documents, tranquilizer darts, and fake uniforms to intimidate vulnerable homeowners, those behind on payments or unlikely to seek legal help. Their method was ruthless: overwhelm with threats, secure signatures or access codes, and vanish, leaving homes absorbed by untraceable entities at bargain prices. Cases in Tampa, Phoenix, and Henderson showed a pattern of evasion, but Tom's confrontation brought undeniable evidence: security footage, Martinez's testimony, and recovered items that tied the men to a funded, regionally coordinated network. Property transfer records exposed recurring names as notaries or witnesses, pointing to a machine built on exploitation. Federal housing regulators stepped in, and local governments launched probes, transforming a homeowner's stand into a national reckoning. For Americans aged 18 to 50, Tom's story is a rallying cry. It embodies the skepticism of unchecked authority that runs deep in American culture, urging vigilance beyond the headlines. Sitting on his porch days later, Tom didn't feel heroic. He felt the weight of a system that nearly failed his family. Detective Martinez and federal agents promised change, but Tom knew real progress depends on public pressure. His 8-foot fence and motion-sensitive cameras guard his home, But the real fight is collective, demanding transparency, questioning suspicious deals, and holding regulators accountable. The viral video wasn't just evidence, it was a spark, reminding communities to stay watchful. Tom's 30 seconds of courage exposed a crack in a predatory machine, but widening that crack requires persistent scrutiny. For every homeowner, renter, or young adult building a life, this is a challenge to keep asking questions. Because once a system breaks, as Tom proved, it's only a matter of time before the rest begins to fall. In the aftermath of a harrowing confrontation on their Willow Street porch, Tom and Emily Harris transformed trauma into resilience, embodying the American spirit of rebuilding after adversity. When Tom arrived home 30 seconds early, his 12-gauge shotgun halting two fake HOA enforcers, dragging Emily from their home, he not only saved her, but exposed a criminal network preying on vulnerable homeowners. The ordeal left scars. Emily's bruised wrists, her silent, glassy-eyed fear. But 2 months later, the Harrises reclaimed their lives with quiet strength. Their home, now fortified with an 8-foot fence and motion-sensitive cameras, stands as a testament to practical recovery, while Emily's return to watering flowers and Tom's reflective moments in his workshop signal a deeper healing. Their refusal of media spotlight underscores a distinctly American resolve to protect their story and rebuild on their terms. The physical upgrades to their property reflect a proactive stance. The new fence, reinforced with sturdy posts and a locking gate that clicks shut with reassuring finality, provide peace of mind, not paranoia. Cameras synced to Tom's phone with live alerts ensure no threat goes unnoticed. These measures, born from necessity, align with the American ethos of self-reliance, where safeguarding one's home is both right and responsibility. Yet the true recovery shines in Emily's transformation. Once pale and fragile from illness, she now moves through their kitchen without glancing over her shoulder, her head held higher as she tends her garden. At the market, her posture is straighter, her voice steadier, reflecting a resolve that speaks to Americans aged 18 to 50, whether young couples starting out or families protecting what they've built. The fear hasn't vanished, but it's been overtaken by awareness and strength, a quiet victory over the men who tried to break them. Tom, too, finds solace in routine. Afternoons in his backyard workshop, cleaning the shotgun that became a symbol of survival, offer moments of clarity. Neighbors stop by, some silent, others curious. But Tom's words are simple. "I'm not a hero. I just came home 30 seconds early." This humility resonates with a culture that values action over acclaim, rejecting talk shows, book deals, and a documentary titled 30 Seconds Early. The Harrises guard their privacy, refusing to let their pain become entertainment. Their story, amplified by a neighbor's 35-second viral video, isn't for sale. It's a lesson in resilience. For every American, from urban renters to suburban homeowners, the Harrises' recovery is a blueprint. Fortify your space, trust your community, and reclaim your life with steady, unyielding steps. Tom's stand stopped a scam, but their quiet return to normalcy, Emily humming, grass growing, mail arriving, proves that true strength lies in rising again, unbroken, under the same sky where it all began. Tom Harris's stand against fake HOA enforcers offers profound lessons for Americans aged 18 to 50, emphasizing vigilance, resilience, and community strength. First, trust your instincts and verify authority. Tom's quick recognition of imposters saved his wife, Emily, reminding us to demand credentials and question suspicious behavior. In a world where scams exploit trust, knowing your rights, like the need for court-ordered evictions, is crucial. Second, community vigilance is a powerful shield. A neighbor's 35-second video exposed a criminal network, underscoring the importance of sharing alerts and staying connected. Third, resilience after trauma is a choice. Tom and Emily's fortified home and return to normalcy, from an 8-foot fence to Emily's gardening, show that healing comes through action and resolve. Finally, systemic change demands persistent scrutiny. Tom's fight sparked federal probes, proving that questioning broken systems can dismantle them. For young renters or seasoned homeowners, these lessons apply daily. Stay sharp, lean on neighbors, rebuild with purpose, and hold authority accountable. Your home is your line in the sand. Protect it with awareness and courage, because 30 seconds of clarity can change everything.